catch it in the other on your computer.
So President Obama is calling for a sweeping federal immigration overhaul. Did you hear what he said at a Cinco de Mayo event yesterday? Here is him on that.
We need bipartisan support, but it can be done, and it needs to be done. So I was pleased to see a strong proposal for comprehensive reform presented in the Senate last week, and I was pleased that it was based on a bipartisan framework. I want to begin work this year, and I want Democrats and Republicans to work with me, because we've got to stay true to who we are, a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants.
There he is, he said, right? The president also gave a shout out to the Phoenix Suns, a.k.a. Los Suns, for one night, as they showed solidarity with the Latino community, and the Reverend Al Sharpton warning his followers against supporting Arizona's new law. Roll this.
And let me say this to my African American or black brothers and sisters that think this is not your fight. Let me tell you something. After dark, we all look Mexican riding down the street.
Let's talk more about it with Juan Williams, news analyst for NPR. Fox News contributor Justin Sayfie is back with us, former spokesman for Jeb Bush out of Miami. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. Juan, are those just words, or is there common ground for immigration reform?
Well, you know, I think that what we've seen over the last few weeks now with the new law in Arizona is that it's been a catalyst for action on the left. And here I come to President Obama. I think what he's saying is he'd like to see something this year. The problem is, as you know, Bill, President Bush tried to get something done. Nancy Pelosi has said right now she's not going to take any action unless the Senate acts first. Harry Reid wants to do something because he's got an election coming up in Nevada with lots of Hispanic voters, but can he get the likes of Lindsey Graham on the Republican side
Graham's
to play
already
ball?
saying that the docket's full this year. That was his early comment yesterday. Juan, I just want you and Justin to listen to what the president said about this very issue about a week ago. Roll this.
So I know there may not be an appetite immediately to dive into another controversial issue. There's still work that has to be done on energy. Midterms are coming up. So I don't want us to do something just for the sake of politics that doesn't solve the problem. I want us to get together, get the best ideas on both sides, work this through, and when it's ready to go, let's move.
No appetite for immigration reform. Justin, has he changed his mind in a week? How do you read it?
Well, I do read it that way. It's kind of a flip-flop. Last week, he was shrugging his shoulders and basically not making it a priority, not willing to put the presidential oomph behind it. And now all of a sudden on Cinco de Mayo, he says it's something that we have to get done this year. Which is it? I mean, we compare what he's doing compared to what President George W. Bush did, who made it a priority, who was willing to work with members of both parties, including liberal member of the Senate, Ed Kennedy, who was willing to take on his own base in the Republican Party. I wish we would see President Obama demonstrate the same courage and the same leadership that we saw President George Bush demonstrate on this issue.
You're calling it a flip. Juan, is it a flip, technically?
I don't think it's a flip. I think they've wanted to do it at the White House. As I said, I think the political dynamics here at the moment make it very difficult, unlikely that you could get the votes to get it done. So I think what the president is saying now may be, in this sense, something along what Justin is saying. I think he wants to make it clear to the Hispanic community that he wants something, that he is trying to get something done. But I'm not sure that even the White House believes at this point that this cake is cooked and ready for the Hill to handle and pull out of the oven.
Why do you make the comment? Because it's Cinco de Mayo and it fits with the theme that was in the country yesterday?
No, Bill, I think it's political. He's trying to say to the Hispanic community that he is one with them. I mean, he's getting pressure from the Hispanic caucus on the Hill, but Hispanic activists nationwide, and maybe even from what we just saw of Al Sharpton saying, why isn't the president acting? I think people on both sides of this issue think the federal government is really the one at fault here, the one that should have taken action.
As you're talking, Justin's shaking his head in agreement. What are you agreeing to, Justin?
Well, I'm saying that I think that the president and the people in the White House need to give the Hispanic community more credit. I think they recognize and they saw when President Obama wanted health care reform, they saw what he was willing to do to get it. And now they're seeing that the president basically last week shrugged his shoulders and this week puts out a statement. I think they're smart enough to realize that this may just be window dressing and that he's throwing them a bone just to placate them for the November elections. Where's the presidential leadership on this?
We have to leave it there. Justin, thank you for coming back. Juan Williams, always great to see you too, my friend. Gentlemen, to be continued, okay? 11 minutes before the hour. Martha has more breaking news now.